Welcome back to our channel on this beautiful day. We are thrilled to have you with us as we dive deep into the latest dramatic developments unfolding in Genoa City. The stakes have never been higher, and the tension is palpable as we unpack the intricate web of corporate warfare and family betrayal. Let us get right into the heart of the story. The late-night atmosphere inside the executive suite of Newman Media is heavy with an unspoken, suffocating tension. The towering glass windows overlook the glittering skyline of Genoa City, but the beauty of the night is entirely lost on the two figures occupying the room. Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson have recently reclaimed their thrones at the helm of the media empire, a victory that should have brought them immense satisfaction and security. Instead, the shadows of Victor Newman's overarching empire stretch long and dark across their desks. They are staying late, ostensibly to strategize their next corporate maneuvers, but the silence between them is thick with dread. The weight of their newly acquired power is proving to be a crushing burden, serving as a constant reminder that in the Newman family, true autonomy is nothing more than a fleeting illusion. Adam's attention is intensely focused on the glowing monitor before him, his fingers flying across the keyboard as he drafts a narrative so toxic it threatens to permanently derail a man's life. His specific task, mandated directly by the ruthless patriarch of the Newman family, is to execute a devastating smear campaign against Billy Abbott. Victor's directive is absolute and unyielding: destroy Billy's claim to Chancellor Industries by any means necessary. The strategy involves character assassination of the highest order, deliberately painting Billy as an obsessed, manic individual who is entirely incapable of corporate leadership or rational thought. Furthermore, the cruel mandate demands dragging John Abbott's pristine, revered legacy through the mud, twisting historical facts to make the late Abbott patriarch look like a manipulative opportunist. Adam is compiling vicious, calculated words, fully aware that the psychological warfare Victor is demanding will cause irreparable damage to the Abbott family's standing and Billy's fragile sanity. Chelsea approaches Adam's desk silently, her eyes scanning the venomous words materializing on the monitor. A visceral reaction of disgust and dread washes over her as she comprehends the sheer magnitude of the destruction Adam is orchestrating. The sinking feeling in her stomach is immediate and profound, a horrifying realization that the power they fought so hard to regain comes with a blood price they might not be able to afford. She possesses a deep historical perspective on the Abbott family and understands the sacred nature of John Abbott's memory. Seeing Adam willingly draft a piece of propaganda designed to desecrate that memory and push a vulnerable man over the edge forces Chelsea to confront the terrifying reality of their current situation. The victory of securing Newman Media suddenly feels like a poisoned chalice. The confrontation initiates with a heavy, suffocating silence before Chelsea directly challenges Adam's actions through her intense body language and sharp, uncompromising accusations. She vehemently questions his willingness to serve as Victor's personal executioner, her expressive eyes conveying a profound sense of betrayal and moral outrage. She dissects the cruelty of the assignment, pointing out that this impending publication is not a legitimate business strategy but a vindictive, personal vendetta. She makes it abundantly clear that this campaign is orchestrated by a patriarch demanding absolute obedience at the expense of basic human decency. Chelsea forces Adam to look at the moral bankruptcy of his current task, challenging him to justify how destroying another man's life aligns with the better version of himself he had promised to become. Pivoting her argument, Chelsea shifts her focus to the incredibly fragile psychological state of Billy Abbott, a man she knows intimately from their own complicated, intertwined past. She passionately argues that Billy is already teetering on a dangerous precipice regarding his manic, all-consuming obsession with Chancellor Industries. She details how launching a public, devastating attack on his sanity, coupled with the unforgivable act of dragging his beloved father's legacy through the mud, could easily trigger a catastrophic mental breakdown. She implores Adam to consider the severe human cost of this corporate strike, reminding him that Billy is already alienating everyone he loves. This vicious article, she argues, could be the final fatal blow that pushes Billy completely over the psychological edge, leading to consequences that neither of them wants on their conscience. The intense debate then pivots away from the Abbott family and directly into their own home, centering on the well-being of their son. Chelsea brings Connor into the agonizing equation, her maternal instincts flaring with fierce protection. She reminds Adam of the harrowing, exhausting journey they have endured to stabilize their son's mental health and provide him with a sense of security. She argues that willingly engaging in Victor's dirty, unethical wars invites toxic karma and instability back into their lives. By becoming instruments of Victor's malice, she insists they are directly threatening the peaceful, drama-free environment they had fiercely sworn to protect for their child. Chelsea paints a vivid picture of the collateral damage their family will suffer if they allow themselves to be consumed by the Newman cycle of vengeance. Adam's defensive posture hardens significantly in response to Chelsea's relentless moral inventory. He feels acutely cornered by the woman he loves, experiencing the familiar, suffocating pressure of his Newman lineage closing in around him. He deeply resents being painted as the malicious villain in this scenario when he perceives himself as merely surviving in a ruthless corporate shark tank. His internal conflict rages violently between his profound love and respect for Chelsea and his ingrained, paralyzing fear of his father's boundless wrath. Adam physically tenses, his expression reflecting the agonizing burden of a man who believes he has absolutely no good choices left, trapped in a labyrinth of familial obligation and corporate extortion. Painstakingly, Adam explains the brutal, unforgiving reality of their situation to Chelsea. He reveals that Victor has explicitly demanded a bold, aggressive maneuver to be executed by the end of the weekend to publicly humiliate Billy and invalidate his chancellor claims. Adam makes it abundantly clear that defying the Newman patriarch is not an option. It is an act of professional and personal suicide. He details the absolute, unyielding power Victor holds over their newly acquired positions at Newman Media. Adam explains how effortlessly that power can be weaponized against them if they show even a hint of disloyalty or hesitation. He argues that his compliance is not born of malice toward Billy, but of a desperate need to maintain the protective shield Victor provides for their family. The core of Adam's paralyzing fear is finally laid bare as he reveals the true anchor of their predicament, bringing the argument to a chilling standstill. He reminds Chelsea of the clandestine, highly illegal financial maneuver they executed to secure their current positions of power. They had secretly paid off Sally Spectra behind Victor's back to acquire Newman Media, an illicit transaction that remains a ticking time bomb buried in their financial records. Adam explains how this hidden payout completely paralyzes their ability to refuse Victor's current demands. He forces Chelsea to acknowledge the dangerous secret they share, highlighting that their own hands are far from clean in this corporate game of chess. Elaborating on the catastrophic consequences of defiance, Adam paints a terrifying picture of what would happen if they refused to publish the smear campaign against Billy. Victor's legendary suspicion would be instantly aroused, prompting a forensic audit into the exact circumstances of how Sally Spectra was convinced to walk away from the company so easily. Adam details how the secret payout would inevitably be unearthed by Victor's relentless investigators. Once the truth was exposed, Victor's retaliatory wrath would annihilate their careers, drain their finances, and shatter their family security forever. Adam argues that publishing the article is the only way to keep Victor's gaze directed outward, rather than focusing his destructive attention on their own hidden sins. Chelsea processes this impossible, suffocating trap with a mounting sense of horror and profound despair. She realizes with agonizing clarity that their initial deception to gain control of Newman Media has now rendered them permanent indentured servants to Victor's malice. The moral compromise settles upon her like a heavy, physical weight, reminding her of the darkest days of her own past as a con artist. She finds herself trapped in a waking nightmare, violently torn between protecting her family's dangerous financial secret and participating in the unjust public destruction of Billy and the revered Abbott legacy. The walls of the executive suite seem to close in on her, as the reality of their compromised integrity becomes an undeniable, inescapable truth. The tension in the executive office reaches a boiling point as the publication deadline mandated by Victor looms ever closer. The glowing cursor on the screen represents a terrifying point of no return for both of their souls. Adam hardens his resolve, prioritizing his family's immediate survival over Billy's reputation, driven by sheer, pragmatic self-preservation and the overwhelming fear of his father. Chelsea stands paralyzed in the center of the room, watching the man she loves transform back into the ruthless, calculating operative she had desperately hoped he had left behind in the past. The emotional chasm between them widens with every passing second, the silence filled only by the hum of the servers that are about to broadcast their moral failure to the world. Just as Adam prepares to execute the final command to publish the devastating article, a sudden, chilling systemic anomaly occurs within the office. The Newman media servers initiate an abrupt, unprecedented lockdown, and a glaring red notification flashes across Adam's primary monitor. The alert indicates that a highly sophisticated third party has bypassed their internal security protocols, simultaneously downloading the draft of the smear campaign and the encrypted files containing the undeniable proof of their illicit payout to Sally Spectra. The screen freezes, displaying a cryptic, anonymous message that implies their deepest secrets are now in the hands of a hostile entity. They are no longer merely Victor's pawns. They are now the exposed, vulnerable targets of an unknown adversary holding the absolute power to destroy them instantly, leaving Adam and Chelsea staring at the screen in pure, unadulterated terror.